despite the pressure and the embarrassment to him on what people were saying, he forged ahead, and he got a big break. He got a big break by the election of 1828. Is that all the people in the country started coming to the polls and voting. Remember, most of the people where did not vote much? In the frontier. Well, now the common man is taking part and getting excited about Jackson because they believe he represents the common man. And so by the election of 1828, common people, remember we talked about this, that made up a majority of the nation's population, went to the polls and they voted for Jackson. Okay? So Jackson's going to get a break in the election of 1828 because the common people who support Jackson and make up a majority of the nation's population are going to get to the polls and vote for him. Well, because of this, Jackson wins the presidency over President Adams. Jackson gets 178 electoral votes. Adams only 83. Very unusual that a sitting president gets beat so badly. Okay? So Jackson wins the election of 1828. He wins a sweeping victory over President Adams. He earns 178 electoral votes to just 83 for Adams.
Do you think that all the same people voted for Adams again, minus one?
Well, the common people came out. Probably, you're probably right. Yeah, you're exactly right. He probably got the same support from the wealthy that he had gotten before, but the common person came out and made a difference for Jackson. Well, this is kind of sad. When is the president going to be inaugurated? It's going to be January-ish, February. Well, on December 22nd, just 3 days before Christmas, in 1828, what happens of sadness to Jackson? His wife dies. His wife dies. Do you know what she dies of? No. What does stress cause you? Because you think this stressed her out?
Yeah.
How do you die when you're really under stress? Lots of times. Heart attack. And that's how she died. So on December 22nd of 1828, just prior to him being inaugurated, Jackson's wife Rachel dies of a heart attack. And a lot of people think she died because of the tremendous stress she was under and the way she was treated by Jackson's opponents during this campaign. Now Jackson was convinced that his political opponents had killed his wife, that their relentless assault on her character had put stress upon her, and he blamed his political opponents for her death, and outwardly so. And he was in so much grief, kiddos, that he considered not going to Washington, D.C. and being inaugurated to become the president. He was that saddened and that disgusted and that mad about his political opponents treating his wife so poorly that the stress in his mind caused her heart attack and her death. And he was so grief-stricken, but he considered not going. Okay? Now, he changed his mind for two reasons. Why did he change his mind and decide to put his grief on the back burner and go to Washington to be inaugurated? Give me one. Close. He didn't want his political opponents to have the satisfaction that he quit. And the other reason he went is because he didn't want to let down who? No, not his wife. All those common people that came out and voted for him. So he thought about not doing it. He really did think about not doing it. But he got to thinking, he says, you know what, first of all, I'm not going to let the SOBs that treated me so poorly win. In the end, I'm going to win. I won the election, and by God, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., and I'm going to stick it to him. And secondly, he did not want the people of this country, the common person, to be let down because they voted for him for president, and he believed that he should go to Washington and do what they voted him in to do.